Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Invest in Yourself, the podcast series. I am, of course, the podcast mogul, Phil Better. And this is a show that we teach you how to monetize, grow, all the fun things regarding podcasting, how to make everything great. Today, I am very, very, very excited because we got podcast evangelist. I can never pronounce that word. I got Rob Antics, an amazing guy who I connected thanks to the great SA Grant over at the Boss Uncaged podcast. And I'm just going to let him introduce himself because I can't speak apparently.
That intro was amazing. I'm like all fired up. I'm like, I thought like lasers going to come out and lightning and everything is so great. The sparklers have hit. So my name is Rob Actis. I am a fellow podcaster. I am a podcaster evangelist, close, at Podopolo. And Podopolo is disrupting the podcast space. And I'm so thrilled to be here. Thanks so much, Phil, for having me. Oh. And I'm just like strapped in and locked in, and I'm here to serve.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So first off, what is Podopolo? Because it's taken me all day to learn. I'm still trying to pronounce it properly. What is it? How are you guys disrupting the game? I'm gonna show the website here so people can see it, and I'll just scroll down. So what is it? How are you guys disrupting the game?
So we are a podcast platform. We've ingested now 5 million audio and video podcasts into our platform. So if you're watching right now, your podcast is most likely inside Podopolo. We've created an incredible user experience that we're so thrilled to have. You know, one of the things that when you go to Apple or Spotify, the listening experience is okay. We've added features. We keep adding new features to make your listening experience just incredible. One of the things you get to engage with podcasters, which is really, really cool. So when you have engaged listeners, that means from the podcast end, you have an opportunity to really grow, amplify, and monetize your show in ways that you didn't. So with Podopolo as a podcaster, you have the opportunity to actually engage with your listeners. You have an opportunity to get incredible analytic feedback. I was just sharing with Phil before we started this show. You know, other platforms don't allow you to see what they see and making advertising decisions. And with what we have done, it's really, really a home for podcasters. And that's what I like to say. It's a home for podcasters, and it's a place for you to really build a community inside of this incredible app that we call Podopolo.
That's what I'm more excited about. It's building the community because podcasters have the hardest time communicating with their audience. That's the biggest thing. Like the interaction is nearly not there because it's like, okay, you have to talk to me on, Instagram or Twitter or Facebook groups or Facebook page. And it's like, there's like that barrier. But with this, you can communicate directly. The minute you get, I think it's 10 followers, you can have access to the communications.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. As you build your followers, we just open up more opportunity for you as you interact more with the app. The clip functionality is really incredible. That's one of my favorite things. You get to create and share clips. One of the cool things about that is that we then, so here's the difference of being on Spotify or being on Apple. And you're going to be there anyways. But the difference with Podopolo is we actively push your content to other podcast listeners. I loved it when Phil and I were talking just a few days ago, and he signed on to the Podopolo app, and he looks on and it says, "Hey, here's a podcast you may like." And whose was it?
It's S.A. Grant, my buddy, the Boss Uncaged. We've had
Absolutely.
him on the podcast. Amazing.
Absolutely. So what we do is we are sharing your content. We have an incredible recommendation engine. So if you're a listener, we're going to be pushing content to you backed by our artificial intelligence engine, and it's going to give you podcasts that you didn't know. However, if you're engaging in certain areas with other podcasts, we're going to say, hey, you might like this. And it's just a really, really incredible listener experience. And from a podcaster, the opportunity to amplify your reach and then, of course, monetize your podcast, hands down, I'm here to serve.
This is a great. What I love is the AI powered automation to suggest recommend the recommendations by the AI, because the computer can do it so much quicker than us. And so if you're listening to, like, I'm listening to your podcast, and then I know you have 100,000 listeners, and they're like, well, the majority of the listeners listen to this, and you're like,
Right.
oh my god, because on Spotify side, not to talk about, they tell you what your listeners are listening to, what music they're listening to.
Right.
Whereas I don't want to listen to music. This isn't sharing with other people, but this is showing what other people listen to. So when you come onto it, a new listener goes, oh, I can discover this new podcast. But also, as a podcaster, you can guest on those podcasts.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
amazing.
We're a company started by podcasters with podcasters in there. I mean, I'm the podcaster evangelist. I started a podcast in 2007. I was one of the first people out there with a podcast, and it was a lot of work to do it out there. And now with podcasting, it's amazing. I mean, I bought a podcast. So my podcast, to tell you how much I'm into podcasting, my license plate says podcaster. So there you go.
I love that. Now,
There you go.
I want to talk about the monetization. How does it work? Because that's obviously a huge thing with podcasters. Like, growing your podcast is one thing, and you solve that with the AI, because you're allowing the AI to start pumping out. So all I have to do is make good content, interact with the app, and boom,
Absolutely.
it's out there. Now you got revenue from advertising and subscriptions, and your audience grows with our zero cost offer. Now that sounds a little too good to be true.
It's not. We're a tech startup. We've been in beta. We put millions of dollars into our platform, and now it's time to open the doors. We're opening the doors. We have an early adopter program. And the way it works is this. You talked about the artificial intelligence and how that all works. Well, the more people that are interacting with our AI model, the more success we have. So we are currently massively building our podcasters platform. We want all of you guys to come in, because it's going to rise the tide, so all the ships rise. So we're all going to win. So what's going to happen in about 90 days when we get to our peak amount of podcasters on our platform, we are going to start rolling out our advertising program. And our advertising program is where you're going to have in-show reads. We're going to have on-screen advertising, all different ways for you to monetize. If you have a small podcast, unless you have 10,000 downloads, you're never going to talk to anybody that's want to advertise in your show. With us, we can do it in very small increments. You'll make a little bit of money, cover your costs, but our intention is to help you amplify your podcast, which we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens? It makes a lot of sense. The more we help amplify and broadcast and tell people about your podcast, the more listeners you have, the more advertising revenue we can generate. And guess what? Podopolo shares that revenue share with you as we build that. So it's a win-win for everybody. And we're really excited about it.
So I love it. Mark was asking how many downloads and what not to do. What do you need on average for monetization is worthwhile? Well, with this is like, look, I'm showing you right here. If you have only one listen, you're going to get $1 a year. But the minute you start getting 10, which most podcasters get 10 listeners on average, you send your listeners to this podcast, you're going to make $1 a month. Not a lot. End of the year, you make $8. It's not that much. But then because Podopolo is pushing your content out and you constantly put out good content, that 10 an episode can go to 100. Now you're making $6 a month. That's not bad. With 3 ad spots, 4 episodes a month. Look at that. You hit 1,000 downloads because the next year Podopolo pushed it. Now you're making 1,000. You're getting $63 a month. $63 a month. So all it is moving people to your app. You tell, hey, find us exclusively on Podopolo's app. You share your link. The only link you share is to the Podopolo app. So people download it, they listen to it, and you say, hey, all you have to do is download this app and you guys help me get paid. And you literally can show them this. If I get 10 people to listen, I make $1 a month. If I get 100 people to listen, I get $6 a month. And this is on their website, the Podopolo website, and you can how many episodes you have a month. Let's say I have 10 episodes a month, and I only get 10 downloads. You're getting $2 a month. It's very interactive. Like,
Well, here's the cool thing, Phil, is that in addition to that, we have our ambassador program. So Podopolo, we decided that instead of paying Facebook or TikTok to get us downloads in the Podopolo app, we decided to go directly to you, the podcaster, and we're going to encourage you to talk about Podopolo, and we're going to pay you. We're going to pay up to $2 for every listener you bring to Podopolo. It's going to roll out in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be tracked. It's super incredible. And what I like about that is that when you're in your podcast, you can be like, hey, Phil and I want to thank you for being on our podcast today. Hey, we want to share with you about Podopolo. It's how you can listen and engage with both Phil and I on this podcast. Click the link in the show notes and go there. You're going to thank me later. Podopolo, check it out. We're excited to have you. Boom. And then they click the link. It's going to be tracked. They go get the app. And then boom, you're getting $1 for each listener up to 1,000 people, and then $2. And then it's from there, guess what? It's $2, $2, $2. So not only are you building your listeners, in addition to that, you're also getting paid, which is super cool. And you're building your community. Very, very smart way that I'm so excited we're doing that, because as podcasters, and that's why I say Podopolo gives podcasters a home.
Mhm.
Spotify doesn't pay you to bring people to them, and Apple doesn't. And trust me, they make revenue off of you. So just know that we want to give you an opportunity to make revenue. You're not going to get rich off of this, but guess what? It's going to cover some of your expenses. Maybe you can now buy that Rodecaster Pro that you wanted, or the upgrade your microphone.
Like, just here, like, look, if you bring 10,000, like, if you have an email list, like, as you grow your show, instead of saying, hey, you can find me, like when you do posts in social media, on your social media, instead of putting find me on Apple, find me on Spotify, find me here, direct everyone to Podopolo.
Yeah.
And then as an ambassador, you go, hey, head over to my website, my podcast website. Ours is investinyourselfpod.com/Podopolo. And you just use it as a redirect, and it redirects to here, and then you get paid.
Yeah.
They're doing Podopolo is doing all the work. All you have to do is direct traffic. That's how you guys.
The cool thing is not only that, but we have an incredible copywriter. Her name's Jenna. She's incredible. So we're going to be writing all of your copy for you, for your reads. We're going to give you the swipe files. We're going to give you the graphics you can use. We're creating an incredible program. We've invested a lot of money working with PartnerStack, and it's trackable. You'll get paid. It's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely unbelievable.
So look, I want everybody to know right now, I am not getting paid by
I was just going
Podopolo.
to say that. Not a thing.
This
Nothing.
is zero. The only thing I put in the link inside the show notes will have it, but also in the chat, I put up my referral link. As Rob said to me, just it's vanity. So it's a vanity right now. It's a referral vanity. I don't know what it's going to do. I did apply to be an ambassador because I want to promote this, because my number one thing is to help podcasters get monetized. And if this is helping you get monetized, this is helping you get monetized. Think about it. You become an ambassador, you put it in your show notes, you only share that show note, that link to your podcast. You're bringing people in, and you're getting paid for every listener you bring in, but also you get paid on the other end. Everybody who listens to your podcast gets paid. So it's a win-win. So regardless, like as Mark said, like how many downloads is it worthwhile? You have a small audience, you move 1,000 people, you still get $1.50 for each one.
Yeah. And the cool thing is that our program, our Podopolo Podcaster Pro program, the Ambassador program, is free. We're offering a year of the Podcaster Pro program. We're all about 10xing your ROI. We want you to make money. That's our main goal at Podopolo. We don't want you to pay for something that you're in the negative. That's not what we're intended. So you get a year of this. And if you do what we're supporting you to do, your podcast is going to grow. And when it grows, then we can talk about higher levels of advertising and the other programs that we have. But the only lift you have to do is download the app, sign up, claim your podcast, and then fill out the form that says Podopolo Pro, and then you're in. And you get me. I mean, you get me, the podcaster evangelist. I'm here to support all of the podcasters in succeeding on that. One of the things we're going to ask you on that form is your TikTok, your social media accounts, because we're building our social media presence right now, and we're going to be promoting our podcasters. It's like I said, it's wonderful.
Mark's
I love
really,
it.
What's the catch? Mark, so you want to know what the catch is your data. Simply as that. You sign up on the app and they get your data. So either your like not your geo tracking location, but what you're listening to. If you listen to podcasts on there, they're tracking your data on listening to that podcast, so that they can then refine it so that other people who listen to that podcast, they'll look at what podcasts you're looking at. So what you're doing is literally building a YouTube platform for podcasters, because this place is Podopolo is trying to help podcasters monetize by helping them move more people. The only reason YouTube got popular and was able to monetize was more people going to. They gave away hosting videos, which cost thousands of dollars at the time they came up. And they're like, no. And they just got traffic. And then they went to advertisers. They're like, look, we got a lot of traffic. Pay us and we can put your ad in front of it. There was no catch. The catch was, look, we're taking your time. Here, the catch is you have to do a bit of legwork. You have to drive traffic here. You drive traffic to Podopolo using your ambassador link and then having people listen to your podcast. You're getting paid. They're asking you to do most of the guerrilla grunt work for them.
Yeah, we just decided that, podcasters have expenses, and doesn't mean it won't be. Oh, absolutely not. So your podcast,
you're not, there's no.
So what's Mark's podcast? I'm sure it's already on Podopolo right now. I can
Mark,
go find.
Can you share what it is? No, it's just like it's another place. It's another distribution platform.
Right,
like
absolutely.
Apple, like Spotify, like Google, like Catcher, like all the other platforms that host quote unquote or distribute podcasts. However, this one is, we want to make sure, or Podopolo, I'm not even here. I want to make sure you guys get paid. That's my job, to help you guys get paid. But Podopolo wants to get you paid because it understands getting your podcast out there is super hard. So why not make it simple? If this place, you bring people in, we'll pay you to bring people in, because the more people that use it, that means they can leverage it with the advertisers to get more money to pay us podcasters.
Absolutely. And the other thing is that we really believe in podcasting 100%. So what I mean by that is that we want to support people to truly get their message out to the right people. And with our recommendation engine, that's going to happen. You're going to get information in front of you of podcasts that you're like, wow. So like one of the analytics you get as a podcaster pro, and I was just sharing this with Phil, and I love about it, is it shows if someone's listening to your podcast, what else are they listening to? Like, how cool is that? It also will show, one of my favorite features on the analytics is, let me pull it up real quick. It shows time spent listening. So it shows the average time. It shows your listeners, how many shares you've gotten, if people have liked your podcast. It'll show your most popular episode, your gender, the ages, the audience interests, which I love. So I have a show called Life Transformation Radio, and it's all about stories of transformation, and people cry on there. It's very emotional. It's
a great show. I've listened to
spiritual.
the episodes you've sent me. It's phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you. And what's really cool about that is that we've discovered through Podopolo that people have listened to it, and I tend to be lighthearted, even in deep conversation, and I laugh a lot, and I was in radio, so I'm ad lib, and I may try to be funny. And so 10% of my audience likes stand-up comedy. And then another 5% likes comedy. And then the top one is self-improvement, but also marketing. So what that means is that I'm going to continue to be funny and bring out brevity in that. And then they really like marketing. So I may switch the people that I'm going to bring in. Like I talked Donnie. He has this incredible story of how he crashed and burned, but he's an incredible marketer and he's an incredible podcaster. So I'm going to bring more of the marketing conversation in there, along with the overcoming the obstacles and the transformation. And I now know that because I can see the audience insights, and it's built in there. And then I can also see my audience also likes, it's kind of cool, They're listening to Life Transformation Radio, and right now they're currently listening to
Boss
I don't know,
Uncaged.
Boss Uncaged.
Mark, by
So
the way, Mark, this is what this is for. Ask your questions, because this is why I
absolutely.
want to bring experts on, people like Rob, who work at
Podopolo.
Podopolo, that helps
Yeah.
make podcasters money. This is why. Ask the questions, please. If you're watching the replay, leave the questions in. I will forward them in an email to Mark, and Mark can reply back, and I'll post them in the group, or Mark can answer them directly in the group. It doesn't matter. This is for you guys to become better podcasters, because think about it, the money that you get from Podopolo can go into, like Mark said, Rob said, into Rodecaster Pro, new mics, new webcam, better lighting, making your podcast better, hiring someone to do your editing. Think about that. If you're making enough, you can hire someone to do your editing. That takes editing off your plate, so now you can focus on marketing your podcast, or you can pay for someone to market your podcast for you. This is what you're reinvesting into your podcast to make it better, moving more people to Podopolo, making more money. And then Spotify comes over and goes, hey, we want to pay you $1 million, $100 million to become on Spotify. And you go, no,
Yeah.
I'm on Podopolo.
Exactly. Oh, also, so in the clips functionality is really super cool. So I told you, Phil, to go and grab clips of your show.
Yeah.
We count those as listens. So if you have a lot of clips and people are listening to your clips, that counts as a listen, and that helps you with your advertising. Awesome. Glad to have you, Mark.
Glad you're there. Make sure you sign up for the 30-minute meet with Rob to understand the full value of this app. It is phenomenal. I did it. I think we were like 2 days ago or 3 days ago, something like that.
Absolutely.
And like Mark, he's going to blow your mind. But yeah, anything else to add before we wrap up, Rob?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm easy to reach. You can reach me through Phil, but I'm Rob at Podopolo. It's PODOPOLO.com. I'm a podcaster. I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. There is no obligation. We don't take a credit card, nothing. It's a year free. We want to earn your business, and we really want to amplify and monetize. Let me help you. I'm here to serve. We're here to serve at Podopolo. And I just want to thank you, Phil, for having us today. And I hope we added value in some way to you, and told you another way to amplify and monetize your podcast. That's free.
That's free. Free is the keyword. Free. Guys, go over. You have the referral link in the show notes, and it will be in the comments forever. I'm Phil Better, the podcast mogul. This is Rob, the greatest dude ever who's helping podcasters monetize, coming from Podopolo. Guys, thank you so much, and remember to invest in yourself.